Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Shadow Puppet Fun. Today we want to learn how to make our own puppets. And we will do nocturnal animals. Shadow puppets. So what do we want to know about shadow puppets? So there's one important thing. Look, if I grab something that kind of looks really interesting in real life, like this old steam donkey engine, let's have a look what it looks like in the shadow. So with the theater that we built last time, I just pop that up here and let's have a look what it looks like. Doesn't look very spectacular, does it? Even if I move it a little bit, it's just too bulky and we can't really see what it all is. So, why is that? Now, the answer is because shadows are actually 2D things, flat things. So if we want to show something in shadow, we don't need the whole object, but sometimes all we need is something kind of that doesn't look very spectacular when you look at it like this, but if we look at it as a shadow in the right angle, bang, there we go. Everybody can see what it is, everybody understands it, and we can start playing with it. And if it is well rehearsed and tells the whole story, it kind of becomes magic to watch. Wait, when I talk about magic, I don't mean now magic tricks like making myself disappear. Snap. Ha! I'm gone. And back I am. Snap. Oh no. What happened? Snap. Snap. I hate magic tricks. Snap, snap, snap. Materials. Okay, let's have a look at the cardboard. It should be strong enough not to be too wobbly, but you should also be able to cut with your scissors or cutter. As a general rule, the bigger and the more moving parts your puppet has, the stronger the cardboard should be. The size of your puppets depends on a few factors. First, what size of theater do you have and what kind of story do you want to tell? Also, how many puppets do you want to move at the same time behind the screen? If the puppet is very small, it is more difficult to build it with parts that move. Also, people may not see it properly. So when you make up stories, we normally want to make a few puppets in different scales. If you have a wolf howling at the moon, we want to see the whole animal and a bit of the landscape and the moon. But if you want to see how the same wolf eats something, we probably want a big close-up of his head and teeth to make it more impressive. And now, it is great fun to design your own puppets. It is not necessarily about how realistic or accurately drawn it looks, much to the opposite. It is important what kind of expression it has. Most of the times, something less like a real thing is in puppet theater more interesting to watch. Just draw directly onto the cardboard. You can scribble and re-scribble, doesn't matter, because you can't see it in the shadow. Or you can also look for some printouts online. So if you add the word silhouette to your search of whatever animal, you will find lots of examples. You can print them out, glue the one you want onto cardboard, maybe change them a bit and cut them out. If you cut something the wrong way, not a problem. Just stick another bit of cardboard on top and try again. If you have some openings in your puppet, you can glue colored cellophane for some special colored effect. So, now that we have our shape, how do we make our hands invisible in shadow puppetry? We normally use some sticks. Easiest to find and perfect to handle, wooden skewers. Now, the trick. Stick a piece of sticky tape onto one side, make a loop and glue the end on top of the starting bit. So, you have this moving ledge that is not sticky. Now all we have to do is to attach it to the other side of the puppet, or from the side or from the top, depends on what you want to do later with the puppet. You can always change it anyway. And we have a puppet that we can manipulate with a small stick. Quite often this is good enough. Remember, the magic of shadow puppetry is not that it looks and moves like real life, but more actually that it doesn't. And we can give movement to the puppet simply by turning or moving the stick in some way. So, we can perfectly move a puppet this way. But sometimes, to tell a story in a more exciting way, we want to have one, or very rarely two, parts that move. Our example of an animal that eats something probably would be good to have a mouth that could open, or an eye that could close. How can we do that? We will need two overlapping rounded parts. So, if you would make a cut where you want the moving joint, we would miss the overlap. Or one or the two pieces, depending on what you make, have to be cut a bit bigger. In my example of the wolf, I can leave the head as it is, but then I want to cut the end of the jaw big enough so it can be attached to the rest. Once we have our two pieces, we put them in position and make a hole right where we want the center of the movement. Start the hole small and then make it bigger with something else and smoothen the borders. Bang! Nearly done. Now we stick our paper clip or something similar through, and the puppet has a moving part. Huzzah! To control it, we want to prepare another skewer with sticky tape, attach it, and the wolf is ready to eat. Okay, and that's nearly it. Now one last thing I wanted to explain. So when we build these puppets with moving part, we always need two of them. So one where we use kind of the main body, and for the jaw we use another one, cut out the jaw a little bit bigger, so we end up with a full puppet and kind of two bits that we don't need. Okay, last tip. If you use small scissors, your life will be much easier. And that's it. It's time now that you begin and invent and make your own puppet, nocturnal animals, or whatever you want to do. And I hope you will be back for the next episode where we want to use the theater that we already built and our puppets to invent cool stories. Nocturnal animals or others are actually one of the good things to work all the time with nocturnal animals. They can't scare me anymore.